So one thing about this channel that I kind of wanted to always do was like review works of fiction that I thoroughly enjoyed. It was supposed to be kind of like this channel is based on me, so obviously it's going to be my personal life, my personal views, as well as things that I personally enjoy. So one of those things that I've always wanted to kind of do a bit of a review about was a series called Catalyst Prime. Now, before I go into the series, I want to take this time to just sort of bring up that like if I would have never been able to have come across this series if not for a website called if I'm not mistaken it's called Library Plus now, but it used to be called Comics Plus. It was a service that was offered through my library that that it was like it was an app, like it was a website that also doubles as an app, and because of that app I've managed to like see independent um so many independent comic series that I just never would have seen otherwise. There are also books up in there that I have not finished, but I found myself being really interested in. For example, Ken Quattro's Invisible Men, which I have to finish now. Unfortunately, it's not on the site anymore. But the fact of the matter is that like I got a chance to see a lot of comics that I probably would have never seen, such as the Catalyst Prime universe, the Wave Rider universe, the those I was gonna read a Zombie Tramp before it fell off. There's a lot of like classic stuff from like Red Sonja. There was like a lot of series up in there that I was like actively reading, but the one that I was really sort of devoted to at the time was the Catalyst Prime universe because they had a very very well produced. Very for me anyway. I loved it. I loved it because it was a universe that I got a chance to see sort of like from the beginning, which is like there's no retcons, there's no redos, there's no weird stuff like that. It's just like everything in the comics that you read is in reference to something that happened from this Catalyst comic that you see from the beginning. So it was released on Free Comic Book Day, which honestly, coolest way to do it ever. With that being said, though, I definitely recommend, if you have access to a library, if you're a very prominent user of the library, which you should be because the library is so essential to just life in general in this country, on this planet no less. I would definitely recommend checking out it's like I said, it's called Library Plus or Comics Plus. I'm going to try to like do some editing with this video, so I will have the logo just pop up somewhere, and so you can like sort of check it out. And if you don't have it, see if you can get you and just enough people together to go to your library and actually like request it for that library. If enough people ask for it, it will show up. You will like they have comics from Valiant, they have comics from like Image, they have comics from I want to say like a lot of small time indie people who probably had the capabilities but probably didn't have the funding or anything like that. It's a lot of cool stuff on there. Like I didn't think that I was going to be into the College Prime universe like I was, and I am, and I'm really frustrated that the imprint is apparently not active anymore, but also I'm upset at how hard it is to get access to Comics Plus in order to get it because not everybody library has it. I could go on all day about how awesome I love that website, but let me go ahead and get straight into the comic book universe that is Catalyst Prime. Okay, so once again, I am going to try to edit, so I will be like trying to put up certain things about this. One thing I didn't want to do reviews initially. I did want to do reviews, but I initially wanted to do reviews to get views, and then I realized I can't do reviews because people like seeing reviews where something is being bashed and trashed and talks back to one. But me, I wanted to do a review about things that I enjoy, things that I like, and use my own personal perspective as to why I like it. Instead of saying nobody likes this thing because this thing is bad, I want to say here's why I like this thing instead. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know that people don't like hearing here's why I like this thing. They want to hear this thing was bad and it sucked and here's why. So, there's that. So I am overcoming that because I'm used to people not watching my stuff. So, alrighty, all right, now let's get into it. 5 minute mark, right? Catalyst Prime is a comic book series that was initially set out in, if I'm not mistaken, 2000, like maybe 2012, 2013 or something like that. I didn't know anything about it until like 2000, maybe 14, 15, 16, 17, around there. I think the thing that kind of got me a little interested in it was that I kept seeing it on Comics Plus. I was like, you know what? I kept seeing a picture of Noble, and he was in like his outfit, and he was doing the pose, and I just found myself just saying, you know what? I keep seeing this picture. What is it? What is this thing? And they made references to the event and to the catalyst of everything. And I like the word catalyst. I love that word because it's a chemical word. And so I read it, and it was easily one of my. It was easily like one of the most precise and easily understood origins of a universe I've ever seen. So picture this: there is an asteroid coming to Earth. Nope, actually, let's go before that. Science is now starting to become a priority in the business universe. And nobody knows that better than this woman right here, Lorena Payan. Lorena Payan, oh God, I hope I'm not saying it wrong. It could be Lorena Payan or Lorena Payan. I'm not sure. There's no accent mark. But Lorena establishes her own, her business that she inherited from her family members. A company called Foresight, which is basically like the best combination of science and business ever. It becomes basically it becomes basically a better form of NASA, but instead of just space travel, it just provides a lot of cool science stuff. And Lorena, for what it's worth, is considered, because she's in charge of this establishment, she's seen as basically, quite possibly, one of the forerunners of women business owners, women of science, and all these other great things. She's easily, considerably, one of the most influential figures in the Catalyst Prime universe, if not one of the most successful. Foresight is like ultimately there is news of this asteroid coming down to Earth, and is up now to, and people are now asking Foresight to handle it, or Foresight is basically saying that they will handle it. Right? This is definitely going to be the thing that's going to put Foresight from here to here. And that was going to be the thing that was going to put. And if Foresight is from here to here, Lorena Payan is going to be from here to here. Okay? With that being said, the mission was simple: get spaceships up, and like get some ships up there to infiltrate the asteroid. This is what's now called the Icarus asteroid, and just blow it up, right? That was the plan. That was the plan. It was a fairly easy plan to have, and the astronauts that was going to be involved in this mission was Family Man David Powell, Jamila Parks, Valentina Resnick Baker, Alistair Meath, and I hope his name is Meath. I hope his name is Meath and not like meth. That would suck. And finally, Evan Chet. Okay, not Evan Chess. Because while he was in charge of the mission, he dies on that mission. We don't know what happens. The asteroid apparently did blow up, or something did ultimately. The mission goes wrong, basically. The mission ultimately goes terribly wrong. And the asteroid does successfully blow up, but it blows up and it hits the atmosphere and just causes quite possibly one of the most devastating meteor showers in that universe. The meteor showers attack and attack the Earth in multiple like scatter shot form, and for what is worth, after this happens, people who come into contact with the meteor gets granted like supernatural abilities. This whole thing is called the event. And what's even crazier about the event is that it could have been prevented. We don't know specifically how or why just yet, but it's actually put into the first series. It's put into like literally the first thing that the event is procured through a lie, because according to Lorena Payan's mentor, Shep Bingham, the asteroid wasn't even headed Earth's way. What's even crazier is that by the time Shep finds that out, Lorena does something completely heinous. And that's just the first part of this whole thing. down the line, obviously, everybody like so from this event, everybody shares every superpowered individual in there in some fashion shares some kind of shares the same origin story. Everybody at some point they come across a piece of the Icarus asteroid. They are granted superhuman abilities, and they treat the superhuman natural abilities accordingly. We even get a chance to see what happens to David, Jamila, Alistair, and and um, and Val. And in the process, they ultimately become like not necessarily the Trinity, but if they are the Trinity, we get a chance to kind of like if there are a Trinity, like we do get a chance to see ultimately what leads to like what led to them becoming the influential characters that they will ultimately become later on. David becomes quite possibly one of the most notable characters in his universe because he I want to say he either saves the world or saves he either saves the world or saves the day in such a way that is like wildly notable and people are like oh my god he's so cool, this dude is basically our Superman, and it's a very beautiful thing to see. Alistair, at the time, if I'm not mistaken, without spoiling it for everybody, Alistair is completely unfounded for like the first portion. I want to say for like the first volume and a half of his series. But when he is founded, you find out why he's missing in the first place. I'll say that. Val, on the other hand, like Val's story, I just finished Val's story, and it just blows my mind. Like the fact that she managed to come back down to Earth from space from a crash, completely unscathed. Honestly, coolest thing I've ever seen. And But another thing that I especially love about this universe is that like people call like I'm glad that it didn't become successful because I can only imagine just how much backlash it would have gotten because this stuff is basically DEI and wokeness before DEI and wokeness became a thing. Once again, it was around since like 2011 and then it became more prominent around 2016, 2017. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, it has so much black, Asian, gay, bisexual, Muslim. It has all of the. It has a crazy amalgamation of just like this diverse thing that happens, and the idea is that like one thing. So and one thing I love about that is that like this series is going to definitely upset the right people, and I'm all up for that. I want to see as many right wing tears as possible when it comes to this sort of thing because they're just gonna be like, it's too woke. It doesn't talk about anything that's prominent. I don't know if y'all can notice, but the Bell's palsy is getting better, but this side of my face is still pretty bad. But yeah, like it's definitely like one of those like it was definitely like because like once again, their Superman is a black family man. You know what I mean? And like what's even crazier is his wife is more prominent than he is. I can't stress enough how much I genuinely love Astrid Allen Powell. I love that woman. That woman is so cool. She is so tough and so devoted and so loving and strong, really strong. Um, there's a lot of that goes on. There is in Val's story specifically, like you find out that Val was married to a black man, and then like her and her husband ultimately like divorced for which by the way oddly enough she kept her last name after they divorced. She kept the last name. But that's why her last name is Valentina Resnick Baker. The fact of the matter is that like she splits up from her husband to because she ends up finding a new girlfriend, and the new girlfriend dies. The new girlfriend dies trying to save kids from a burning school, and then later on she ends up getting another girlfriend who is the bodyguard that's hired by that's hired by Lorena to kind of like keep watch over her after she quits Foresight. It's a lot that goes into this stuff, man. It's so good. Like we don't even like I can't even I haven't even brought up Axel and Quincredible yet, or Cosmosis and Superb, which is Cosmosis and Amina yet. I'm not even like bringing up those guys yet, and I can assure you right now, like I love it. I feel really bad that it's not around anymore, and it didn't really like get it didn't really get the buzz that it should have. But honestly, I mean, like I can't say never. I can never say never when it comes to these sort of things because things always tend to find a way to come back. And yeah, but but yeah, like I said, comics Comics Plus, Catalyst Prime, love it. And I hope that y'all love it too, and not try to be like they're forcing diversity on me. You know what I'm saying? It's just wild, man. It's just crazy. Like well, I forgot to mention the incidentals. It's crazy, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's a big universe. It was actually around for a pretty reasonable amount of time, and I just I hope that I'm just glad I'm ready to see what they do with Jamila Parks. I feel like at some point they gotta do a little bit more with Jamila Parks because she's she's technically an angel now, but not really. It's beautiful. I love this thing. I love this, and I can't wait. I mean, well, I can wait. I have been waiting, but I love it, and I hope that it gets more love down the line. But even if it doesn't, I don't care. I'm just glad to have been able to read as much of it as I got to read. So Also, man, rest in peace to Alex Winters. In the series, you'll understand why if you read up to 7 days. Love and peace. Gotta be easy.